and its economy. And the man, as we said, whose job it is to usher it through the Senate, we welcome back Senator Ken Conrad, who chairs the Senate Budget Committee, of course, a Democrat from North Dakota. Mr. Chairman, good to see you again. Welcome back, sir.
Good to be with you.
What's your executive summary of the president's budget? How do you characterize it?
My characterization was a good start, cuts the deficit in half over the next 5 years, makes important investments in reducing our dependence on foreign energy, in excellence in education, which is critical to our long-term competitive position, and of course the 800-pound gorilla healthcare reform that is absolutely essential if we're to get back on a sounder fiscal course. But that's Senator, on the positive side. Let me make one other observation. I am concerned about the long-term buildup of debt. I'm especially concerned about the second 5 years of this budget. I think it goes far enough in a plan to reduce our long-term debt. So I think that requires additional work.
Senator, there were two issues that really kind of shocked most of the people that we talked to, both on Wall Street and in various sectors of the economy yesterday, and that was the reduction in the deduction of mortgage interest and also the reduction in the deduction for charity contributions. You know, what good will both of that do longer term if indeed we're trying to get housing to recover? A lot of people think that will hurt the housing industry at the wrong time.
Yeah, I think that particular piece of the president's budget is probably the most controversial. I can assure you that is going to have a lot of attention as we seek to alter the president's budget so that it can get passed, so that it can get implemented, and so that it really works for this economy. I would put that high on the list of things that will be given a thorough scrubbing and may well not survive.
What about one of the assumptions in the budget, Senator, is that you guys are going to agree to getting rid of farm subsidies for farmers that make more than $500,000. Are you going to agree to that?
Before you answer, Senator, let me just point out the president is at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina to discuss the withdrawal of troops from Iraq, the timetable he has set forth, which we'll talk about in a moment here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. Being from North Dakota, I know farmers are an important part of your constituency. Are you going to agree to a reduction in subsidies for those farmers?
Well, remember, the way you described it is actually not how it works. It's not based on earnings. It is based on the gross receipts of over $500,000. You may not have any earnings. You might not have any net income and be affected by that proposal. So
it's a bad proposal?
Excuse me?
It's a bad proposal?
Well, absolutely. When you're saying anybody with receipts of over $500,000, whether they're losing money or not, has provisions that were just passed in the United States Senate last year with over 80 votes and was completely paid for. Remember, the Farm Bill last year was completely paid for. It didn't add a dime to the deficit.
But for the record, you're not going to support that, even though he's put that as a provision in the budget?
No.
Okay.
Senator, is this going to be truly a bipartisan effort, or will we have overwhelming Democratic support and the support of 3 Republicans like we did with the stimulus bill?
You know, that is yet to be seen. I'm very hopeful that we can go to work on a long-term budget blueprint that is done on a bipartisan basis. As you know, Senator Gregg, the ranking Republican, and I have a proposal for a bipartisan effort to put us back on a firmer fiscal footing long-term. I'm going to be pursuing that with my colleagues. You know, I think this may be a propitious moment for us to kind of step back and look where we're headed as a country and say, is this really where we want to go? Do we really want the debt to have doubled over the next 10 years? Personally, I do not. And I think we ought to go to work. We ought to take the good things that's in this president's budget, especially the first 5 years where he cuts the deficit in half, but then he kind of gets stuck in the second 5 years. I think we could do better.
Chairman Conrad, we wish we had more time, but we'll move on. We know that the debate only begins now, and we hope you come back as the process continues.
I'll be happy to do that.
Senator Ken Conrad, who chairs the Budget Committee in the Senate, joining us today from Capitol Hill.
Very interesting. I think you made some news there. The mortgage interest deduction provision might not make it, and the agriculture issue that Michelle brought up. See where it goes. All right. Well, the other big story today, the